Welcome to She's All Business. I'm Sophia, and I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest today, Raquelle Pedraza. She's going to talk to us about her life and how she became a fashion designer and a VIP tailor, working with clients like Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj, Bella Hadid, and so many more people. Raquelle, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm so excited to be here.
I know, I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you.
I'm really curious, what is your go-to staple in your wardrobe?
I always need to be comfortable because I'm always on the go. And New York is always like you have to be running from one appointment to another. I always wear sneakers, but I try to be like a little put together, like a good blazer and good trousers. I feel that make a nice outfit for work.
If you were to design something with full creative freedom for any celebrity, what would you design and who would it be for?
So it's a very hard question. I would love to have creative freedom in all my projects. Unfortunately, it's not possible in all of them. But I guess my biggest dream would be to design for the Met Gala. It would be amazing if it were for a Latin woman, like, I don't know, Salma Hayek, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
I really want to start from the beginning with you and kind of hear about your journey, starting with your childhood, your family influences, kind of growing up in Mexico, and kind of what you thought your interests were going into high school and college and what you thought you wanted to do.
Growing up, I always loved fashion. I guess my biggest influence was my grandma on my mother's side. She learned how to sew. She taught herself how to sew, and she support her whole family through her making dresses and pieces for people that she used to know. She's like one of my biggest influences and inspiration. Also my family, like I come from a very hardworking family. My mom always stayed at home with us. I have an older sister and a younger brother, and my mom was always there for us. She used to make sure we were like a straight A kid. There's not another option. So I guess that helped me to always believe that I could do things, especially when I used to have all these dreams about moving to New York or like starting a career in fashion. Some people used to say like, no, you can't. But I feel like since I grew up with the mentality of no, it's not an answer, I feel like that helped me a lot to achieve like what I'm doing now. And I always knew I wanted to do fashion. It was not a career that my teachers liked me to do, or even my family. They were like, you can do it as a hobby. In high school, I decided I was going to learn how to like sew and start to do things for them to realize I was really doing it. So I took a sewing class. That's when I started, and I was like, this is it. I love it.
So then you ended up going to college for fashion design. Where did you end up going and how was your experience?
I went to Universidad Interamericana para el Desarrollo, which is in my hometown. During my program, there was an internship opportunity to go wherever you decide. And I decided to go to Mexico City. It was for an emerging designer that actually moved later to New York. And when I did my internship, it was for a semester. And I used to do the production. So I used to get all the fabrics for the samples, the buttons, the zippers. And she was working on the collection she showed at Mexico Fashion Week in that year. So it was fun to see all the process. I had 1 year left of college, and I decided to stay in Mexico City. And I feel it was the best decision I made because I got to meet a lot of people, and that led me to my first job. I saw the job at Charo Perez, and they were looking for a flagship store manager.
Okay.
Charo wasn't there. Charo is a Spanish designer. She was back in Spain. So I applied for the position. I started working for the brand in the store, and then they decided to move all the production to Mexico. So that was so good for me because I got to meet the designer in person. I got to work directly with her. So she arrived in Mexico in the very first months when I started my job. So I helped her to choose fabrics, to develop all the collections for the bridal the following year. And it was amazing because she's a genius. She was one of the first to do the bridal ready to wear as we know it now. She is Her family was one of the first ones to do it in Spain. So it was very exciting for me because I got to learn pattern making techniques that only she knows, and hand embellishments that only she knows, and she showed them like personally to me, and it was amazing to have that opportunity.
You had a crazy opportunity that happened in 2014. You ended up getting an internship with Sonia Morgan, who is a cast member of The Real Housewives of New York. How
Yes.
did this happen? And you also became a personal assistant and stylist for her very quickly. I'm just so intrigued.
No, it was meant to be for real. Like I came with my sister and a couple of friends to spend New Year's Eve in 2012. Yes. So I came, and it was my first time in New York. So we went to all the touristic spots. I told my sister, I just want to go to Madison Avenue and see the stores, see everything I see on the movies. And she was like, okay, I'll come with you. And I met Sonia on a corner of Madison Avenue. I didn't know who she was at the time. She asked me where was my bag from. I had like a little bag, and she asked me, and we connected like for probably 5 minutes, and she gave me her card because I told her I was in fashion. I don't even remember, but for some reason she gave me her card. I put it in my bag, and then I completely forgot. Like, a whole year passed and nothing happened. And 1 year after, I was in Mexico City. I was already in my job for 3 years. So I was like, I need to move on. I need to find something. So I was like, how can I come to New York? I opened like a little bag I have from my trip. And then I found this card, and I was like, oh my God, this woman, she looked like so like fancy. Maybe she knows about an opportunity. And I was like, let me just Google her or like her name. And then I Googled, and I saw like, oh my God, she's like one of the Real Housewives of New York. Like I didn't know anything about the reality show, but I called her, I sent her my resume. It was just the right time for her and for me because she was looking for an assistant. I started doing like small things for her, like as an intern, first social media and how to read the emails, how to manage the calendar. So I started as an intern, and then probably a year later I stayed as her assistant, and I used to manage like her appointments, her schedule, everything. Like I used to go to every event with her, carrying her bag.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was fun because she was filming during that time. So 6 months she was filming, and the whole crew was in the house. So I had to help the crew to do everything. And then the 6 months after, she was promoting the show. So it was always red carpets, appearances, podcast, TV. So I was there for her all the time. And then at some point, I was like, I want to do like something related to fashion for you. So she let me start to dress her and organize her closet. So, and I used to pick her outfits, and until she let me dress her like formally as her stylist.
How long were you her stylist for?
2 3 years.
Okay.
It was great to see how everything works from that point of view too, like from the marketing side. She's like a marketing genius. The social media, she I learned a lot from her about social media marketing, even design and styling. So she was like a mentor, like a big mentor to me.
Around this time, you ended up starting your own design brand, Raquelle Pedraza, in Mexico while you were still here in New York, right?
I was back and forth at some point because I was waiting on my visa renewal. So I went back to Mexico, and I was like, okay, I can find a job. But after everything I did, I was like, no, I need to do my own stuff. So I decided to open a store in Mexico of my own label. I used to design, like custom design for my clients, mostly evening wear and mostly for women. So I had hundreds of clients that came to do a custom design. So I used to do like all the process, do a sketch for them, and then pick the fabrics, and then do the fittings for special events like weddings, proms. And it was amazing. Like it went really well, but I always had that feeling that I needed to come back to New York. Like I was like, I need to go back. So it was always my goal, and to be able to do that, I needed an artist visa. So that was part of the process. It was very hard for me to get the portfolio to be able to apply to that kind of visa. It was amazing because Sonia supported me the whole time. Yeah, so having her support was very important for me because I was able to come back with her, and that's when she let me focus more on her styling, and that's when I did like different projects for her. More, I got to style her for commercials, for the finale of the show in 2020. I did one of her most memorable looks, so it was very exciting. Yes, I used to love my job with her, and I could be her assistant like for years.
Yeah.
But it's important to move on, like when you know it's the right time. So yeah, I think it's one of the things I had to learn. Yes, that it was important to move on to other things.
Definitely. So you opened your own brand, but you also ended up opening Tailored by RP. Can you tell me about why you decided to open up a second brand?
Yeah, of course. So I had a background in styling, and I had a background in fashion design, and I realized there was a lot of competition and like a lot of people wanting to do styling. So I was like, I need to find something that makes me stand out. I always had this technical side where I'm really good at. So all the product development, the technical skills, the sewing, the tailoring, and all my background is doing custom design. And so I'm always fitting the garments to perfection for all my clients. With that experience, it was like a very smooth transition into the tailoring because it was something I've always done. I just didn't know it was like a career here. So it was very nice to be able to meet these stylists and work with them and meet their clients and combine like my both worlds, like fashion design and styling, and doing it in a way that I can grow a lot.
So you have done so many different ventures with design, tailoring, styling. How do you find time to balance it all?
I'm very focused on the tailoring, and I'm also like, no, I need to get some time to do also my own projects, like for my brand, and not focus just on one thing at a time. Like I like to balance my time in doing both of them because I also have some clients that I still do fashion design for them. So it's hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are some of those clients? I know Undone by Kate is one of them.
Yeah, I work with different designers. I work with a very great designer. Her name is Kate Barton. She's doing amazing, and she's doing amazing stuff. And I sometimes I help her with the product development of her pieces. Like last season during Fashion Week in September, I helped her with 2 or 3 designs for her runway show. So it was very nice to get to work in that with her, and seeing the final result in the runway. It was very nice. Like I developed and crafted a dress that was the finale dress, and it was worn by Winnie Harlow, that is now my client in the tailoring business. So
Oh my
it was
gosh.
good. Yes.
That's so cool. And you're able to connect both the design and tailoring with your clients. That's so amazing.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite look that you recently designed and who wore it?
Yes, I had a couple that I did for my own brand. One of them, it was for the Super Bowl for Brittany Mahomes. Yes, I did a custom corset and a jacket for her. And one of my favorites, it was for a model. Her name is Camille Kostek, and she asked me to do the dress for the Sports Illustrated anniversary, and she was the host of the red carpet, and it was my favorite look ever. She looked stunning, and we still like, it's still our favorite for me and her. Like, it's been like more than a year now, and it's still my favorite look. I really love working with all of my clients. I'm always very excited to meet them and get to work with their stylist. Like, sometimes I get even more excited about meeting the stylist than than the actual client, because it's people that I've been admiring for years.
Yeah.
So getting to work together and close with them, it's been great.
Yeah.
I recently worked with Katy Perry, so that was very exciting. It was amazing because getting to meet them and work with them, it was the best. Yes, and she's one of my top singers. I was very excited. What I love the most about my job is that every day is different. So someday I'm tailoring for a bride, and the next day I'm doing a rapper, and the next day a pop star, and the next day just a private client. So it's like every day is different, and that's what I really like about my job, and getting to combine it with my own brand too. So it's like I really like having both of them.
What do you think was the most important piece of advice that you got from somebody that was a mentor to you, or just when you were entering into this career?
So I guess not to take no as an answer is one of my biggest advice. The other would be, when I was working with Sonja, she used to tell me, assume you're doing everything wrong. And at the moment, I was very annoyed by that advice. I was like, why does she mean? Like, I'm doing it fine. Like, and she used to tell me, no, it's okay if you ask 20 times. It's better if you ask 20 times than if you assume you're doing it right, but at the end, you're doing it wrong. So for some of my clients, sometimes I assume they want something a certain way, and maybe they want it in a different way. So I always assume I'm doing it wrong, so I always ask them, and it's been a great advice to have, because then you never miss anything.
And now you're working on a really big project for yourself. You are about to launch the US side of your brand. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so I've been doing a lot of custom projects for my brand, but I haven't done any formal like collection. So I want to start doing it now. And I'm planning to launch my brand officially here in the US in this summer, 2025. So yes, I'm very excited. I have very excited things coming up. So I'm very excited to do it here in the US, because back in Mexico, I also have a new store in Mexico City. So if you're ever in Mexico City, make sure you stop there. Yes.
So I do this on all my episodes. I always ask my guest if there is an internship or shadowing or networking opportunity that you can offer to the listeners that they can apply to.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for an intern, a summer intern to start end of May, June. I'm looking for an intern in PR and social media. And I'm also always open about looking for interns in design and interns that want to learn about tailoring and design, like in product development. So yeah, I'm always open. I'm moving to a new studio in May and I'm looking to grow my team. So it will be amazing to have an intern here to be like my voice and learn about the US side and everything that's going on here.
Is there an email that they can reach out to?
Yes, it's Raquelle Pedraza ny@gmail.com.
Raquel, thank you so much for coming today. I'm really grateful to you and for you supporting me on the podcast and just being able to talk to you. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you. No, thank you so much for having me, and I'm so happy you're doing this. It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And congrats on your new US launch this year. I'm so happy for you.
I'll let you know soon.
Yes, keep me posted. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.